$3 million for a single piece of land. A final wish from my father. And now it was all mine. I can see that moment clearly in my mind. The kitchen was quiet. The only sound the soft rustle of paper as I pulled the deed from the envelope. My name stood out, printed in bold. No question about ownership. Outskirts of Austin, Texas. 20 acres of prime land, right off the highway. Market value, $3 million. A sum that could change anyone's life. But to me it was more than money. It was the legacy of my father, his blood, sweat, and more than 30 years of toil. Every penny saved just to keep this land. Claire, my wife, lingered in the doorway, hand over her mouth, then rushed to me, pulling me into a tight embrace. Her voice quivered. Honey, this is our future. I promise we'll protect it. For you, for our daughter, for our family. I believed her. 8 years of marriage. Modest as we were, we held steady. I managed construction sites, pulling in around $6,000 a month. Claire worked as an insurance accountant, earning $3,500. Together, less than $10,000 each month. Barely enough to cover expenses. $2,000 for the mortgage. $600 car loan. $1,500 tuition, childcare, and health insurance for our 6-year-old. Another $3,000 swallowed by utilities, groceries, gas, clothing, medicine. By month's end, a few $100s remained. No savings, no safety net. One unforeseen disaster, and it could all vanish. Then came the inheritance. $3 million worth of land, a lifeline. A chance to breathe, to plan, to secure a future. We popped open a cheap bottle of wine. Claire laid blank sheets across the table, scribbling ideas. If we built a modern wooden cabin on a corner and rented it short-term, we could pull in a few thousand a month, while keeping the land intact. Or we could lease part of it to a farm, stable, low-risk, quarterly payments. We talked late into the night. Claire's voice carried excitement, her eyes shining. Our daughter slept soundly upstairs, while we dreamed of open possibilities. But the dream began to fray. Claire started coming home later, her coat faintly scented with coffee from cafes across town. Her phone face down on the table, screen flickering before going dark. I asked. She replied calm. The company's finalizing accounts. Yet her eyes darted away. One morning, I bent to pick up dropped keys from her purse. And there it was, a folder just peeking out. The label was clear. Property ownership transfer. My chest tightened. I put it back, said nothing, didn't confront her. But my mind spun the whole day. At night, I lay awake. The ticking clock pounded against my temples like a hammer. $3 million. Claire's promise. That folder. They didn't align. The next morning over dinner, I tested her casually. If we hold on to the land and invest long-term, the payoff will exceed selling now. She froze mid-bite, chopsticks paused. Then a thin smile. Yeah, I think so too. The smile was fake. I knew immediately. I had seen that look before. Workers hiding mistakes, eyes shifting, a forced grin. Claire's was no different. The following night, I checked the banking app. A transaction appeared undeniable. $500 sent to a downtown law office. Note, legal consultation, real estate. My chest clenched. I gripped the railing on the balcony, Texas wind whipping around me. Streetlights threw fractured shadows across the pavement. One thought consumed me. What is she hiding? Claire stepped out behind me. You're still awake? I swallowed, keeping my tone flat. Just thinking about the land. She placed a hand on my shoulder, gentle, reassuring. Don't worry. I'm here. I looked into her eyes, empty. That night, I turned my back on her, sensing the storm ahead. Monday, I went to the construction site. Excavators roared, dust thick in the air, workers shouting. But all I heard was my own heart pounding. $3 million. A law office. A wife hiding something. At noon in my truck, I scrolled through the transactions. Not once, not twice, but 3 identical payments. $500, $500, $500, $1, $500 total, to the same office. I gripped the wheel, knuckles white. What was she paying for? For whom? That evening, Claire smiled, set the table, recounted mundane stories from work. But every word, every blink, every grin carried the weight of deception. A week passed. I stayed silent, waiting for proof. Thursday it found me. I came home early, parked down the street, and saw Claire exiting a tall glass building, file bag in hand, escorted by a man in a gray suit. He shook her hand politely. Michael. Michael, my best friend since college. We had camped together, shared lunches when broke, trusted each other completely. Now he was a lawyer, the very office Claire had been paying. I froze, the scene hitting me like a punch to the chest. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Michael. Meet me tonight at the old bar. Important. Don't tell Claire. The familiar bar, quiet street, neon flickering faintly. Inside, Michael sat, beer untouched, eyes serious. I didn't know another way to tell you, he said. Claire wants to transfer the land to her name, and then sell it. My throat went dry. What did she say? Michael sighed. She said she needed the money for a new future. With another man. The words twisted in my chest like a knife. Glass shattered in my mind. He slid me a folder. Draft a fake contract, just a test. We can stage it to reveal her true intentions. Hands trembling, I took it. Are you sure? Absolutely. I can't watch you get betrayed. 3 days later, Claire sat across from me in the living room. Hands on the table, voice soft. Honey, I think we should consider transferring the land title. It's just paperwork. Makes business easier later. You trust me, don't you? I watched her, suppressing the storm raging in my mind. Fragments of memory flickered. Her warm promises, the wine bottle. The blank page she once filled with doodles. Now every moment had been an illusion. I nodded slowly. All right. If you think it's necessary, then let's sign. Claire's eyes lit up. She squeezed my hand, a bright smile spreading across her face. I knew you'd understand, she said. On the day of signing, we arrived at the law office. Michael was already there. She had no idea that he and I had orchestrated everything. Claire gripped the pen, her hand trembling slightly with anticipation. I studied her face, seeing the excitement shining through. She lowered the pen and signed. 1 stroke. 2 strokes. Her name sprawled boldly across the page. Michael collected the papers and nodded. All done. On the way home, Claire burst into tears, covering her face. You don't understand, she choked out. I've loved another man for a long time. I need money for our future. Forgive me, but I can't come back. Each word slashed through my trust like a razor. I gripped the wheel tightly, my heart shattering. Yet my lips remained sealed. That evening, I called the entire family to the house. My parents, my younger brother, a few relatives. The living room felt taut with tension, like a drawn bowstring. Claire sat beside me. Anxiety etched across her face. I stood, holding the folder. Today, I have something important to share. Claire asked nervously. To transfer the $3 million land into her name? I raised the signed papers. Every eye on you now, I said. She panicked. No, it's not like that. I just wanted to make things easier. I lifted the folder higher. This is a fake draft. Michael warned me from the start. And today, in front of the family, you've revealed your true self. The room erupted in whispers. Chairs scraped across the floor. Claire stood abruptly, tears streaming down her face. You trapped me. You don't understand. I need freedom. I need money. I looked at her, my voice cold as steel. Need money? Need freedom? Then you chose betrayal. You sold your honor for a false future. Today everything is clear. The room fell silent, save for Claire's sobs. I sank into my chair, waves of pain and grim satisfaction crashing inside me. I knew this confrontation was only the beginning of the end. Once the family left, only Claire and I remained. She collapsed into a chair, eyes red, breath ragged. The fake contract lay on the table, a living testament to betrayal. You knew everything from the start, I said, forcing each word out. From the moment you transferred money to the law office. From the moment you hid the files in your bag. From the moment you lied with every glance. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I didn't want to deceive you. I needed a way out. I've fallen in love with someone else. I needed money to build a future with him. Her confession cut deep, yet I wasn't shocked anymore. Only a cold emptiness spread through me. Freedom? I asked, my voice steady. Freedom by betraying your husband? Freedom by handing my father's inheritance to another man? Claire buried her face in her hands, sobbing, her cries echoing across the empty room, distant and hollow. The next day, Claire packed her belongings. One suitcase, a few bags of clothes. She didn't look at me. She didn't look at our daughter. The little girl's round eyes widened. Daddy, where is Mommy going? My throat tightened. I bent down, hugged her, and whispered, Mommy needs some time, sweetheart. I watched Claire's shadow fade beyond the gate. A hollow ache settled in my chest. It hurt, yes. But strangely, it also felt freeing, like a wound finally opened, allowing it to start healing. The news traveled fast. Family, friends, neighbors, everyone knew. My mother said only one thing, heavy as a boulder. You did the right thing. Anyone who chooses betrayal must face the consequences. Through it all, Michael was my rock. He guided me through every legal step. The $3 million land remained untouched, still under my name, with not a single loophole. As for Claire, I heard she went to a man, a smooth, polished real estate broker. But once he discovered she had no claim to the land, he disappeared. No calls. No messages. A week later, Claire returned. She stood outside the gate, worn and broken, her eyes sunken, her face drawn. Please give me one more chance, she begged. I've lost everything. You're all I have left. I stepped onto the porch and looked straight at her. The woman who had once shared my struggles, who had promised to protect the land with me, now just a hollow shadow of herself. A chance? I asked, voice cold. You had it from the start. You chose betrayal. Now there's nothing left. She crumpled, sobbing, and I turned away, closing the door. This time, it was closed forever. I poured every ounce of my energy into my daughter. Mornings, I walked her to school. Afternoons, I picked her up. Weekends, we went to the park, ate ice cream, and watched kites dance in the sky. Daddy, she asked one day, Grandpa's land is so beautiful. Will I ever go there? I ruffled her hair and smiled. That land is yours. Grandpa left it to me, and I'll keep it safe for you. With Michael's help, I signed a lease for part of the land to become an organic farm. Every quarter, it brought in over $60,000, not as much as selling it, but steady and long-term. Most importantly, it was still mine. I opened a separate savings account for my daughter, noting, college tuition, her future. Signing it, I felt a sense of lightness wash over me. One evening, I returned to the land. The Texas sunset burned red, and the wind swept across the fields, carrying the earthy scent of hay. I stood there, a mix of pride and sorrow swelling inside me. $3 million worth of land, an inheritance. I gazed at the sky and whispered, Father, I kept it. No one took it away. In that moment, I understood. The sting of betrayal fades, but the strength it leaves behind endures. Assets can be measured in money, but trust? Once broken, it's priceless. No amount of wealth can restore it. And sincerity, true sincerity, is what lasts. Betrayal brings nothing but loss. I held my daughter's hand as we walked away from the land. The road ahead was long, but we would move forward in truth, with no shadows behind us. This is my story. A husband who preserved a $3 million inheritance, upheld his family's honor, yet paid the price with a shattered marriage. Betrayal wounds deeply, but truth and justice always shine. I share this not to complain, but to remind you. Trust is worth more than money, and betrayal always comes at a cost. And you? Have you ever faced a betrayal that shattered your trust, yet gave you the strength to rise again? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit like, share this story so others can hear, and most importantly, subscribe to Revenge Insight, where every day we bring stories of justice filled with drama and emotion.